Hello, I'm Pam. Welcome to today's video. I thought we should do a little vlog. I don't really have a plan for this video. I'm just gonna shoot some footage of some things that I have going on, which is not a lot, but it was just my birthday this past week and I was stuck at home because I got strep throat. It was not a fun time, and it also happened to be my 30th birthday, so it was like an extra bit of a bummer that I was stuck at home. So I did what I do anytime I'm feeling a little blue, and I online shopped. I did a little bit of a treat myself because it was my birthday and I couldn't do anything, so I bought some books, and I thought it would be fun to do a little book haul and talk about some of these books that I got. I got the packages, I like opened them, but then I haven't really gone through because as soon as like I make a purchase, I forget about it until it comes in, and then it's like a little surprise, a little bunch of endorphins. So yeah, my horrible TikTok fried memory is good for surprising myself with gifts when I online shop. So yeah, let's do a little haul, and then I don't know what the rest of the video is going to be. I think I have some orders to pack, so I might be just packing some orders that I have been neglecting because I haven't been feeling well. I'm finally on the up and up, so I thought I would bring you along for that. But yeah, let's get into it. I only have like a handful of books. Only, you know, I only spent like less than $100, so. The first book is from Thrift Books, and this is gonna be kind of like the weirdest one. This isn't gonna make a lot of sense, but I'll kind of explain why I got this book, because even now I'm like, wait, why did I get this? So Thrift Books, they're kind of like an online eBay. They're like, people just sell you their old books, and this was the only place that I could find this book, and I'm really glad that I was able to find it. So this is the book. It is called From the Files of Madison Finn, Only the Lonely. This was published in 2001, and it is a middle grade book. So you might be wondering, why did you purchase this book at 30 years old? It's because I have been trying to come up with the name of this book for years at this point. I did a little Instagram post where I made a graphic with 30 books for 30 years. So last year there was this really popular trend going around on Bookstagram that was like the books that made me me, and people were just posting all the books that made an impact on them from their childhood into adulthood. And I thought it was a really cute trend, and I really wanted to do it, and I thought it would be cute to do it for my 30th birthday. So I did 30 books, and I did some for like each stage of my life. So I had one for my childhood, and I had some books on there. And when I was coming up with the graphic, I was like, I really like, there's this book that I know I loved, and I couldn't think of the name, and I was like Googling every little detail I could remember about this book, because basically the only thing I could remember was like, there's this girl, she likes the color orange, I think. She has a dog, and she has a computer. Like, computers and technology are a big part of this story, and I feel like that made a big impact on me because I've been, you know, chronically online since we got dial-up internet back in like the early 2000s. So the internet was a big part of my life, and I really loved this book because it incorporated computers and the internet and technology, and that's all I remembered about this book. So like, I've been searching for years and years and years for this book, and one day I finally like sat down, did a deep dive, went into like every single possible book that it could be, went down the rabbit hole, and eventually it led me to the book. I finally found it, and it was this book, Madison Finn, and I was so excited. But I knew that this was the book But I was like, okay, but I want more. Like, I want to remember exactly what was in it, what that I really liked, and I wanted to see specifically like the internet aspects of it. So I bought a copy. Yeah, so this is the 2001 version. This is the one that I mean, not this copy, but this version is the one that I read back in the day. And I just think it is so cool. So yeah, I don't know if I'll actually read this, but I'm just like flipping through it and I'm like, this is exactly what I was looking for. And the reason why I might not reread it fully is because I just have like really great memories of this book and I don't want that illusion to be ruined because I know that it won't be the same as when I read it when I was a literal 10-year-old. But it was so cute. Like, look, it literally has like chat room stuff, like AOL type chatting. And then she also uses her computer as a kind of diary. So she has like different diary entries. And it is just the cutest thing ever. And I'm so glad that I finally found it. And I was just having a moment of nostalgia and of being very happy to have finally remembered what this freaking book was. So yes, I got this. I added it to my 30 books that I posted about on Instagram, and yeah, this is the first book in my haul and the weirdest one, but I'm very happy about it. The rest of the haul is from Barnes & Noble. I try to shop local as much as I can, go to different bookstores in Austin, but sometimes you just need a little Barnes & Noble haul, and specifically, I was looking for this book and I couldn't find it anywhere else, so Barnes & Noble had a copy and I was like, that's perfect, and the book is Liliana's Invincible Summer, but the original Spanish version, El Invencible Verano de Liliana. I read this book, this memoir, earlier this year, or okay, it's 2025. I read this book last year and I loved it. It was one of my favorite books of the year, one of my new favorite memoirs. This book is about a woman whose sister was murdered by her ex-boyfriend in Mexico, and it is 30 years after her murder and she is restarting her investigation, trying to find justice for her sister, and this memoir talks about that journey, and then also it incorporates a lot of her sister's writing because her sister kept a journal. She loved writing. She was very, very smart, very creative, and it includes a lot of her sister's writing in this. And I read it in Spanish and I really, really loved it and I wanted to have a copy of it, but finding books in their original Spanish is a little hard. Sometimes finding them locally is hard, and then buying them online is sometimes really expensive, but Barnes & Noble had it for a regular paperback price, so I really liked that, so I got a copy. And yeah, I really wanted to have my own copy because her sister handwrote a lot of the things that she included in here, so those are on here with like a different font, so you know like when she was handwriting certain things. And then she also included like actual scanned copies of some of the things that her sister wrote and made. So yeah, I just really wanted to have my own copy. So this is another one of the books that I got, and I'm very happy to have this, and I feel like I'll want to reread this at some point, but I have to be ready for it because it's a very, very heavy memoir, as you can imagine, but a very good one. I do recommend. Okay, the next couple of books that I got are Becky Chambers' Assault for the Wild Build. I also read this last year and I loved, and I wanted my own copy. So Assault for the Wild Build is about a monk who is just trying to figure out their place in life, in society, and it is a futuristic world, and this monk meets a robot, and in this world robots are kind of a thing of the past. Humans invented robots, but then the robots became sentient and were no longer interested in being controlled by the humans, so they kind of said, peace, we're out, gonna do our own thing. And so humans and robots don't really interact anymore, but the tea monk meets a robot, and then they go on a sort of journey together, and the tea monk is also going through this personal journey of trying to figure out what their life purpose is. And this book was just so sweet. So it was like a warm hug and very reassuring for the constant reoccurring existential crisis of what the heck is life? What is my purpose in all of this? This was a very, very soothing and reassuring book. And I loved it. So I got a copy, and I also got the sequel, A Prayer for the Crown Shy. So I'm really looking forward to diving into this whenever the time is right. So yeah, those were my next two purchases. And my final book in this haul is Emily Wilde's Map of the Other Lands. I read Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies very recently, and I very much enjoyed it. So I bought the sequel to read sometime this year, and I'm very excited because I just know it's gonna be a great time. I loved Emily. I loved Wendell, their crazy, kooky adventures. I went into Encyclopedia of Fairies knowing that I was gonna love it, but I was actually having a little bit of a hard time at the beginning. I wasn't connecting with any of the characters, and I was kind of scared that I wasn't gonna like it. But then they grew on me, and I really ended up enjoying it a lot. But I'm excited to dive into the next one because I've heard that some of the things that I kind of had an issue with in the first one won't be as big of an issue here. One being that I already know and love these characters, so I won't have to like warm up to them at this point. And also there was just some weird pacing stuff in the first one. Things were happening very suddenly, and I was getting a little bit of whiplash. And I've heard that it's not the case in this one, so yeah, I'm excited for it. And also, like, this cover is so cute and springy. I'm not sure if that's the vibe of the book, but I'm excited because the first one was very, very wintry. It was like almost too cold and dreary for me. So I'm looking forward to something that's less, or actually this looks even like autumny. Very cute. Fall vibes, actually. So if this is in the fall, I might have to wait till the fall to read it because I am very much like a mood and ambient reader. So I don't know. I'll look into it, see when the best time to read this is going to be, but I'm very excited to have this like in my back pocket to read sometime this year. And I did for the first one buy the Barnes & Noble edition. So of course I had to get the Barnes & Noble edition for the sequel, and I am in love with this cover. So beautiful. So yeah, that is my book haul. Hope you enjoyed. got that done. We have packed some wholesale orders. It was just 2 small orders that I had just been putting off for a little bit. I am so like physically and mentally exhausted. Like every small task feels monumental. Like I have a few things to do. I have a friend that's visiting this weekend and is staying with me. So I have to clean, get everything ready for her. And then we're having a little girls' night and we're gonna do like scrapbooking, vision boarding, and I need to like get materials ready for that and maybe buy some snacks and stuff, and that's like, super fun. And like getting ready for that, usually that's the kind of thing that fills me with a lot of excitement and I feel really happy doing it. But right now, just like thinking of getting that done is just, it feels monumental, along with like just a couple of other things for work and for just personal things that I have to do. And I don't know, I think it's like a combination of the strep throat just like leaving me exhausted, and then also just the start of the year making me feel like I need to be super productive and I need to have everything clean and figured out, and it's just making me really tired and like making me dread everything. So that's just where I'm at. I will get through it. It's just a little slump, and none of the things are actually monumental. They're very small things. I just need to work up the nerve and just listen to my body, but also like not mentally tell myself that I'm tired before I've even begun a task. Yeah, that's where we're at, but I'm looking forward to tonight, just like after I've gotten some things checked off the list, resting and doing some reading. I am currently in the middle of 2 nonfiction books. One is The Mexican American Experience in Texas. It's a nonfiction book about exactly what the title sounds like, and it's very interesting, but it is very nonfiction. Like it's just straight facts, history, and it's very dense. It's not too long, but the words are a little bit microscopic. If I'm like feeling like just reading for pleasure, this isn't really hitting that spot right now. But after finishing A Clash of Kings, which felt like it took years to finish, it took me a little under a month. And the only reason why it didn't hit the month mark is because I got sick and had nothing else to do but read. And Clash of Kings, it was very, very good. So entertaining, so much detail and like rich world building, so much strategy, so much fantasy, so much plot. It was so good, but it left me exhausted. And this has happened to me before when I've read a Game of Thrones. It also happened to me. I was like, I don't know what to read now. I ended up reading the entire A Court of Thorns and Roses series right after that, and my brain was fried. So I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna follow up The Clash of Kings with. So I'm following up with 2 nonfiction books. It was like the only thing that I was like, okay, I can get into this right now. For some reason, don't ask me to explain it, but yeah, I'm reading The Mexican American Experience in Texas, and then I'm also reading Defectors by Paula Ramos. So another nonfiction book that talks about Latinidad, and yeah, both very interesting, but that's what I've got going on right now. Now that I'm like a significant amount into these books and, you know, have kind of left The Clash of Kings, the craziness that was behind a little bit, I am starting to feel like, okay, I'm ready for whatever the next fiction book will be, but I need to get through these first. I did have a little itch earlier when I was like, maybe I just start something concurrently, but then that's always a bad idea. Having more than like 1 physical book, 1 audiobook in my rotation, it's just never a good time, especially right now that I'm like already on the brink of feeling super overwhelmed. I think I'm just gonna stick to these nonfictions for now, try to stay engaged and really like be present and absorb everything that I'm reading, really to try to learn and retain some of that information and not just like power through it for the sake of getting through it. So yeah, that's where we're at right now. It is very cold. There is a freeze warning. It's supposed to be kind of rainy and sleety and just icky weather, like not the right conditions for snow, so we won't even get anything beautiful or anything like that. It'll just be nasty, icy sleet. So I'm just gonna stay inside as much as possible. Yeah. So cozy, sick vlog, but it is what it is. Happy 2025.